Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy the Lion here for another Pyromaniac video preview. It's one of my favorite songs right now, Eminem and Lil Wayne, No Love, off the new Eminem CD. And I got to thinking, you know, it's one of the sickest songs out right now, and we definitely have one of the sickest websites right now, if not the sickest fantasy football website. So why not combine the two? It's good stuff. So today I'm going to cover one of my favorite fantasy players, Jason Witten. Last year I had Witten on a team, and not much you can say about the guy. He was consistent as ever. The touchdowns were a little down, which was a little disappointing, but 94 grabs is pretty damn good. Second of all tight ends. He has averaged 90 catches the last 3 years, which is incredible. Over 1,000 yards the last 3 years, and he has scored 13 touchdowns the last 3 years. So the touchdowns could be higher. That's only about 4 a year. But if you guys remember, I think it was in 2006, Witten had 1 touchdown, and then he followed it up the next year with 8 in 2007 and finished #1 at tight ends. Before I get into Witten, or get further into Witten, one thing that I want to bring to your attention, I know there's a lot of Dallas Clark love going out there, and after the season that he had, I can't blame it. I mean, it's hard not to fall in love with what he did. His season last year was incredible. 100 catches, double-digit touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. Absolutely incredible. But here's something to think about. No tight end has finished #1 in back-to-back years since 2002 and 2003 when Antonio Gates did it. So that means every single year there's been a different guy finishing #1. So before you go and blow your load on Clark, that might be something you want to consider. You also might want to consider that it's going to be hard to top whatever Clark did last year. I think that was maybe his best year in his career. So I'm not saying that he can't do it again, because he certainly can. I'm just saying to temper your expectations. And if you're not one that likes to spend an early pick, or the earliest pick possible, be the first guy to take a tight end, then you may want to go other options. And with that, Jason Witten. Also mentioned, I already mentioned his consistency, and the guy is Tony Romo's best friend. I don't know if they have a secret romance going on. That's not really my place to decide, but the two guys have a chemistry that cannot be ignored, and that definitely plays out on the field. Last year you had Miles Austin emerge, and that may have been some of the reason, or part of the reason Witten didn't score as many touchdowns. Des Bryant is now in the mix, and some people don't like that. Think it hurts the value of Austin and Witten. I disagree. I think it helps immensely, because now you've got 2 guys on the outside that you're going to have to worry about. So Witten should be able to run all day long over the middle, get open, and you know, hit the short to intermediate routes. Still be a PPR beast. I'm really on a tight end kick right now, because I just signed up for a league that gives 1.5 points per reception for tight ends, and you can start up to 3 of them. So it would make sense to be stocked at tight ends, because it is the slimmest amount of depth compared to the other positions, and in a scoring format like that, Dallas Clark actually scored more points than Andre Johnson, who was the consensus #1 wide receiver in PPR last year. So it's definitely something to think about. You definitely want to know what you're getting yourself into. So as far as talent, Witten's got it. As far as opportunity, he's going to get it. And as far as his schedule, it's hard not to love his schedule. He's got a really easy schedule. The Cowboys' defense isn't a shutdown defense by any means, and that division in the NFC East is probably the toughest division in the NFL, meaning the Cowboys are going to be in their fair share of shootouts, and shootouts are a fantasy football player's dream. You love when teams are scoring in the 20s and 30s on each side. That means a lot of yards are getting spread out and a lot of touchdowns are being scored. As far as Witten's value, it's really interesting. I think a lot of people are overlooking that he had 94 receptions last year. If you don't play in PPR leagues, it's another reason why I can encourage you to play in PPR leagues, because if you look at what Witten did outside of his receptions, it's not too impressive. The 1,000 yards is nice, but 2 touchdowns is nothing to write home about. So get in the PPR leagues. Witten is a tremendous value. I'm seeing guys like Seelick and Finley, Vernon Davis. These are guys that I do like a lot. They're younger guys, but let's also consider that Davis didn't do much in his first few years, so he's only done it for 1 year. I do like Seelick to keep it going, but he's only done it for 1 year. And then you have Finley, who I absolutely love, but he's only done it for half a year. So let's not get ahead of ourselves with some of these younger guys. If you want to take them, by all means. I'm not saying not to. Go for it. I'm just saying be aware that if you miss the run on tight ends, or if your league is the kind of league that falls in love with what I call the sexy picks, the bigger names over the production or the potential production, and you miss that run on tight ends, rest assured there's some good values in there, specifically Jason Witten, Tony Gonzalez, and even Owen Daniels as far as the mid-round guys. And if you miss on one of those, another guy I really like is Zach Miller. So there's not a ton of depth, but there's enough where everyone in your league, top to bottom, should be able to have a good tight end. So don't go out of your way to draft them too high because you may be regretting it. Or there might be a guy who emerges super late, like a John Carlson or a Heath Miller, that puts up comparable numbers. So you have to be really smart about where you're taking your tight ends. I generally like to get 2 of them. A solid guy like a Witten, a Finley, a Tony G, and then matching him up with a younger guy who is poised for a breakout, like a Zach Miller, Dustin Keller, John Carlson, and Tony Scheffler. So covered a little bit more than just Jason Witten, but I think it's important to not only know what a guy is capable of, but also about what to expect from his position and where to take them, because it's key to winning your fantasy leagues is getting good values every single round. If you have a team full of players that you like, that are good values, chances are you're going to be in the playoffs, and you only need a little bit of luck on your side once you get there to make it happen. So with that in mind, good luck, happy drafting. If you're on Twitter, please give us a follow. Here are our Twitter tags. Pyromaniac, that's a 1, not an I, and then I am Pyro Lion, and that's how you can get a hold of us. We're taking questions all day long, keeping the fantasy chatter going. The season's only about a little over 60 days from the opening day, so getting pumped. I know a lot of people are starting to get in their drafts, so it's like Christmas out here. So thanks for tuning in. Look forward to working with you guys all season long, and thank you for checking out the video. Peace! V-Net crew!